Welcome back to Ultra Retrospective. We're taking a look at another movie. This time, it's the first entry in the well-conceived but ill-fated Ultra N project, 2004's Ultraman the Next, alternatively titled as simply Ultraman. I guess I should talk about the whole Ultra N thing. Once again, credit to Ultrablog DX by TriBlast28 for synthesizing a lot of this information. Project Yellow Eyes started life as a proposed film, a sort of one-off, and it was eventually folded into another project that would have produced a show titled Ultraman Cross, and the resulting project, now titled Ultra N, saw the release of this movie and the show Ultraman Nexus. These two entries in the Ultra series from the start were not intended to set the tone for the franchise going forward. They were supposed to be a one-off thing that explored the potential of a darker Ultraman entry. And while the Ultra N project wouldn't take off in the way the creators hoped, what we got were a movie and a show to look back on, which is what I'll be doing with the next. Set in contemporary Japan, the film follows Shunichi Maki, an Air Force pilot one day from retirement, who collides with a UFO. It's simple enough so far. It's the typical Ultraman origin story, but with a more grounded setting. But things take a turn for the Cronenberg when a man who survived a similar incident begins to change into a monster codenamed The One. And Maki is detained by a top-secret military group out of suspicion he will go through the same transformation. As the One grows in size, Maki's transformation is revealed to be that of a silver giant, codenamed the Next. And with his newfound abilities, he's asked to help defeat the One. More preoccupied with protecting his family, Maki must find the determination to defeat the One, and eventually experience the once-in-a-lifetime sensation of feeling what it's like to truly fly. There are aspects to the production that are done quite well, but while the film is going for something more serious, it doesn't quite stick the landing, I think. The sound design is a little flaky, and it doesn't fit the intended scale. Maki's theme also sounds like a pastiche of the Top Gun theme. Get it? 'Cause he's an Air Force pilot, so that's really cheesy to hear. The characters in general are just okay. Maki's motivations and characterization are functional enough. He has this arc about how he became an Air Force pilot because it was his dream as a kid, and as Ultraman he gets to experience flying a whole new way. His family is mainly there as a motivation for him, so they don't get much to them. But I think it works enough in making me root for the guy. Having the movie be about a dying dream that sees a sort of rebirth and interest is pretty uplifting. The only other characters here I remember are Ippei and Yuriko, who are a nod to two characters from Ultra Q. The film only goes so far with the body horror too, but when it's on screen it can be a little unsettling. It's still a fun movie, with all the cool choreography you'd come to expect from Ultraman. It even takes advantage of the fact that it's a bigger production than the average TV show. The final fight in Shinjuku is the centerpiece for the film's effects. I don't really care for the computer-generated stuff, but with a couple exceptions, a lot of the fight is rendered in compositing shots that look decent for the time. One particular moment of interest is when the One and the Next clash here. It looks striking. Only a couple miniature shots too, and the miniatures that are here look good. Overall, the movie doesn't have the Hollywood production values I think they were going for, but it's certainly commendable and it's the best aspect of the movie. This version of Ultraman sees the most radical departure from what's normal about an Ultra design, with visible sections of exposed muscle and armored plating. This version of the character is the starting design of what would eventually become Nexus, so there is an emphasis on growth that starts with this film. Like how the One goes through stages of transformation, Maki's transformation isn't complete in its first appearance. It takes until the movie's finale for him to reach a more realized form. I prefer the sleeker appearance of Nexus and its colored forms, but I do like the more biological approach to the character in this film. It's a unique, edgy look, but put him back in the oven. He's not done. There we go. I've always seen the One as a sort of beefy redesign of Bemular. They're both the first alien Ultraman fought on Earth, and they're both reptilian in appearance. The difference being that the One goes through a number of changes after absorbing several life forms before settling on a final form, which is a good design to land on. The incomplete form looked kinda goofy being kicked around. Overall, I do like the One conceptually. It's a chimera monster that takes after the traits of the creatures it absorbs, like that one monster from the scrapped 1994 American Godzilla movie. As for connections to Nexus, well, aside from certain plot elements carrying over, like the intimidating government organization formed in secrecy, and a couple of the characters from the movie showing up late into the show's run, both are mostly clean breaks from each other. Hell, the single time they referenced the One in Nexus got retconned later. A lot of thematic content from the show, like how memories shape a person and the importance of trusts and bonds, started in the show itself, not this movie. So aside from the more general idea that anyone can become Ultraman and shoulder that responsibility, there really isn't a requirement to see the movie. It's a standalone feature that has the show's backstory, and by being a serialized series, I think Nexus was able to tell a more compelling narrative with the groundwork the movie provided. The Next is alright, and it's good as a standalone feature. The effects are solid, if not a little rough around the edges, and the story it tells doesn't surprise but is well told. Yet it's hard to not compare it to what came after, and I think the show was way more ambitious. At least the Next was a single movie that ended on its own terms, which, man, that's a can of worms. I'll talk about it next week. While the Ultra N project didn't do as well as Tsuburaya hoped, you can blame toy sales and unfortunate time slots for that. The Next and Nexus wouldn't be the last time the first Ultraman show would see a darker standalone reinterpretation. The Eiichi Shimizu Ultraman manga, positioned as a loose sequel to the original series, takes the Ultraman characters and monsters and scales the action to a more human size. It got an anime adaptation recently, and while I'm more hard-pressed to say it feels anything like Ultraman, it has more to do with Kamen Rider, honestly. It is a radically different approach to the source material. Shinji Higuchi and Hideaki Anno's Shin Ultraman was also going for something similar to the Next, but comparably way more reverent to the first show with its Ultraman design, and the film more or less being structured like a television series. That's a video for another time though. Can't wait to talk about it. The Next isn't quite the cinematic reinvention of the Ultra series it hoped to be. It kinda stumbles in regards to presentation, but it is fun for what it is. It's still undeniably Ultraman. And Ultraman is cool. It's a good movie. Check it out. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. I properly credit them in the next video. I mean, the Nexus video that's coming up, not the next, the video that you just watched. But all the footage you see from Ultraman Nexus is an HD upscale by Bright-Eyed Toku Fan. I'll be using that footage in the Nexus review, which is coming out next week, so look forward to that. You can watch it right now on my Patreon, but yeah. Here is a shout out to my top patrons, who helped make videos like this one possible. Fujoshi Urinal, Mulan Nguyen, Ultraman Taro vs. Leo, Irrelevant 402, Hayam Mooney, Krazak53, Komen, Queer Kaiju, Chronicler Waba, Alcoholic Alligators, Ryan Santa Cruz, Avak Robot, The Antagonist, Richard Ciavardon, Ziggy Zigra, It's Godzi, Bigodilo, CMG, Red Comet Harry, and Marpzilla. Thank you very much.